crisis with Sistah Scifi. This is Sistah Scifi Wind Down Wednesday, and I'm working hard to make Wednesday your new favorite day of the week. For those of y'all who are on a couple minutes ago, I left to come back because the books were in my backpack. So today we are, our special guest is Chelsea Lockhart. She is the author of We Are the Origin and We Are the Dying Gods. We'll have a special co-host, Jessica Cage, with us, and we'll all be discussing the duology and all things Black speculative fiction, because you know how we do. So before we get into all of that, let me know in the comments, how are you? Hey, Erica, I see you. Oh, hey, Jessica. Okay, let me send you, how is the campaign going, Erica? Let me know in the chat. Jessica, I just sent you an invite, and Timothy, thank you. Good evening to you as well. So yeah, how are you? How is your Wednesday treating you? My Wednesday is good. I'm getting over a cold. It's a cold. Oh yeah, let us know, and feel free to drop the link in the comments. I'm getting over a cold, but I'm excited that it's not COVID. What else? Hey Jessica, I think, yes, perfect. And then, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Excellent. So this is actually our first time interacting because I've been coordinating all of this with Chelsea. Good evening, Chelsea. How's your Wednesday been, Jessica?
It's been all right. Had a lot of appointments today, so.
I just can't wait for this Wednesday to be over. Hopefully this is your last engagement. Okay. So I just invited Chelsea. And then okay. So quick PSA.
Hello.
Hey, Chelsea, how are you? It's been a minute.
It has. How are you?
I'm good. I don't know how to, I would like to make a quick PSA to support another author that's in the chat. Is that okay with y'all?
Sure. Go ahead.
Erica, who leads the Sistah Scifi graphic novel club, she has a short story graphic that is being included in a queer BIPOC anthology. They're raising funds. They have 30 hours to raise $3,000. Erica will drop the link in the chat. Okay, the PSA is done. Now I'm back with my books.
I actually can't see you. Is that just me? I can see
I
Jessica.
can't see you, Chelsea.
You can't see me?
No.
I can see both of y'all.
I can't see Isis.
I don't go live on Instagram, so I don't know what's happening.
I don't either.
I've done a couple lives, and I've done 3 people lives, and I've always seen everybody, and I think I've assumed they could see everybody.
I guess it's just us.
Yeah, I mean, so Jessica, you can see me, but you can't see Chelsea?
Yes.
And Chelsea, you can see Jessica, but you can't see me.
Yes.
Okay, so if you're watching in cyberspace, can you just confirm that you can see the 3 of us? So you should see me, Isis, Chelsea, raise your hand.
Hi.
And Jessica. And if you don't see the 3 of us, let us know in the chats. I'm seeing, hey Letitia. Letitia was here last week. Hey honey. Ooh, hey the divine meme. Okay. Okay, I don't see it. Tribute illustration says I can see clearly now that the rain is gone. Get out of here. I mean, yes, thank you. And Letitia says they can see all 3 of us. And the Melanite Comics also says I can see 3 of us. So for some reason, even though you can't see all of us in cyberspace, we're good. So we're just going to keep rocking and rolling. Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome. Yay. Let's start with a quick round of intros. Let's do, as they self-intros. Let's do that.
Okay. Are you going first, or you want me to go first, or Jessica?
Jessica, then you, since we're focused on your books.
Hi, I'm Jessica Cage, fantasy author, and fan of C.M. Lockhart. I love her so very much, and I'm excited to be here and chat about this amazing story.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
Well, first of all, thank you. I'm so excited to be here. Okay. And for everyone who doesn't know me, hi, my name is Chelsea. I go by CM Lockhart on the internet, and I am a fantasy author, and I write books about Black girls who aren't all that nice. And we are here to talk about my books. First one is We Are the Origin. Hi, this is the original. And then we have the sequel, We Are Dying Gods, which just came out 2 weeks ago, August 29th.
2 weeks ago.
So yeah. And the cover
Yeah.
that Jessica has is the limited edition with the spicy version. So this is a regular version that's for your kids. Her version is for adults. Okay, glad we covered that.
I love my original non-spicy version. So I was really excited. Chelsea, you want me to call you Chelsea or CM?
Chelsea. I tried to keep my identity a secret for a while, but then everybody found out, and then it wasn't a secret anymore, so I just go by Chelsea.
Okay. So Chelsea was great and sent me like We Are the Origin like literally 3 months ago, and then sent me We Are the Dying Gods in more than enough time for me to read the book, both the books. But I read really slowly, and I was struggling, and I'm excited to discuss. And in full disclosure, I was like, can I just pretend like I read the books? And I was like, no, I should just be honest. And I'm excited to read them, mostly because these covers are amazing, and I'm very fascinated by Brandi.
Thank you.
How's y'all's Wednesday? How do y'all know each other? I'll start there.
How do we know each other? We met each other on the internet because, I mean, obviously she's Jessica Cage. Like, if you're Black and you write fantasy, you know who she is. And I want to say we met on TikTok first, and then it just kind of like went from there. I was on her podcast, and she was on my podcast, and then we were just like, we're friends. And I think that's it. We'll be meeting for the first time this weekend in Richmond for the Book Bar Lit Festival.
The Book Bar Lit Festival. That's cool. That's awesome. Erica, which I guess Chelsea, says, me and Chelsea, this is what Erica said, had a great conversation for the Nerds, Herbs, and Words podcast.
Yes. So if you guys haven't checked that out, I'm not sure if it's live yet, but it was great. It was fun. It was really, really fun. So not sure if it's out yet, but I can't wait.
Yeah. I love the fact that y'all met in cyberspace, and now, so y'all met, it sounds like a while ago.
I think about a year since we first started.
I think so. That sounds about accurate.
I
Time
started
is not a
seeing her
concept for
on
me.
TikTok, and her intro to how she introduces herself in her TikToks, like her tagline about how she writes books about Black girls that aren't all that nice. And I was like, yes. And then every time I saw it, it was just like, it was in my brain. Like, I was like, I love this. And it just was like, so when I launched my podcast, I was like, I have to have her on it, and so we've been kind of going back and forth since then.
Yeah. I love it. And now y'all will get to meet in person in Richmond. Okay, so what else? Amanda. Oh, hey, Amanda. Amanda was on the live. I loved these books. Amanda says, Sons Love the tagline, covers Tribe View illustration, says, let's look at these covers again. These covers are tough. The green pops, the eye pops, the hair pops. I'm here for it. Timothy has books in ebook form. Just joined. And somebody just joined. For those of you who just joined, we are discussing We Are the Origins and the sequel, We Are the Dying Gods by Chelsea Lockhart. And Chelsea, you can drop the chat to learn more about either book. Drop the link to learn more about either book in the chat if that feels of ease to you. And if not, we can ask, maybe Timothy will do it for us.
I know my husband's in the chat, so he can definitely drop the link for you guys to grab a copy of it. And if you see, he's on it. He's already on it. So cmlockhart.com. And if you purchase the book from me, if you purchase the physical copy, it comes signed, it comes with a map, it comes with artwork, and it also comes with the digital version of the book, so that if you're one of those people where you're like, I'm not trying to break no spines on my book because they're here to be pretty, you can still read the book without having to mess up your spine. So, yeah. Oh, and also, I like to show this. It has artwork under the hardcover. If you're one of those people that doesn't like to mess up your desk jackets. Both books have artwork under the cover. And I think, Jessica, you have the one with the actual exclusive artwork on the limited edition.
Can I show that on there? Because it's a little...
I mean, it's a little spicy, but it ain't showing nothing. It's just a face.
I don't know. You know how these moderations be, girl. I'm trying to get...
That's shipping. I love it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. So, okay. If it's okay with you, Chelsea, do you want to read an excerpt? And you can
see, you get me the first surprise.
Yeah. I always need to tell authors oh, I'm gonna ask you to read an excerpt, and then I forget, and then they're like, Isis, we did not talk about this. So it is totally okay for you to say no.
I could do an excerpt from We Are the Origin, because We Are Dying Gods. I will say this. Oh, I also have paperbacks, you guys, by the way. We Are Dying Gods, the sequel, picks up exactly where We Are the Origin left off. So if you have not read this book, please don't pick up the second one and ruin it for yourself. So, I don't know where to start with that. You know what? I'm going to decline on the excerpt, only because I was not mentally prepared for that.
Thank you so much for setting that boundaries. I've learned in my old age to love it as much when people say yes as when people say no. So,
Ben was like, I can read one of the chapter openings. I can do that.
Yes,
is that okay?
That's what I was about to offer up. Yeah, and I love page one prologue, but whatever chapter opening resonates with you, I'm here for all of them.
Okay, so for those of you who don't have the book, I can show this because it's literally the first page, and you can get this anywhere. There are little in-world books in the book that have little openings at the beginning of each chapter. So this one is from the prologue of We Are the Origin, and it says, "She was as broken as the world we lived in, but even so, she stood as a goddess among mortals, beautiful in her destruction. Freya and the power of incarnation from Lindell's first holy academy." So that was the quote that actually got me started writing this book. That came to me before anything else. So if you're one of those social media stalkers, you can go back to my early tweets when the One Line Wednesdays was still a thing, when Twitter was still named Twitter. That was one of the first tweets that I shared when I started writing the book. So yeah. And then I have a couple of favorite ones. This one has a lot more intense chapter openings, I think. So get into it. This one was fun to write. So yeah.
Okay, so if you're here for the intensity, read book one so you can get into the intensity of book two. Okay, so sorry, Jessica. Yeah. I think I've just been rapid firing, asking all the questions. Jessica, what questions do you have for Chelsea? And you may have already asked all the questions, and that's okay. We can recycle questions.
I'm here for. I'm cheering her on in the background. So I have comments, questions, concerns. Galore. First off, I don't know if this is jumping into the deep end. I don't know what questions you had lined up, but I really wanted to talk about the relationship dynamics that you have introduced early in the book, because what I have found in a lot of the stories that I've been taking in is I struggle to care about people's not the character themselves, but the relationships that those characters have with the other people in the book. But from the first page, I am so concerned with all of these people who are surrounding Brandi. Jack, and I've messaged you about how much I love Jack, as well as Sarah and Sarah's mother. How did you balance creating these relationship dynamics without taking us too far out of the story, because I feel like I'm caring about these characters, I'm learning about them very early in the book,
Yay.
but I still am in the main story that you're giving us. How did you balance that?
That's such a good question. And I'm going to answer it like it was intentional because it absolutely wasn't. But I'm going to pretend for just a moment. And for me, it's just like I am drawn to stories where I feel like all of the characters are people. Like they have lives outside of the main character. So when I was trying to write We Are the Origin, I was just like, yes, Brandi is the main character. Sarah's also a main character, but the people around them have their own lives. They have their own history. And I think there's this moment that was for me with my mom where I was specifically like, you had like a whole life before you were my mom. Like, what was that like? And it's just kind of the same thing when I was writing like Sarah's mom. Like she had a whole life before she was a parent. And, you know, some things catch up to you after a while. So when I was writing those dynamics, I was just like, you know, everybody has their own world where they think they're like the center of the universe, but also kind of like when you meet someone else's friend or whatever, it's like you know that person through their relationship with the person that you already know, and how they know them is kind of colors how you perceive them. So Sarah's relationship with Brandi is colored by the fact that they have this history, and like Jack is kind of like, who are you? Like you just literally popped up out of nowhere, and she's just like cool with that. She doesn't do this for other people. Who are you? Right? But yeah, and vice versa. Sarah's just like, oh, this Jack person's pretty important, and it's just kind of like, I think that's the answer that I'm trying to go for. But also the very simple answer is just like, I'm just a very character-oriented person. I had no idea what was going to happen in the book. I just knew that Jack and Brandi was going to be Jack and Brandi, and that Sarah was going to be in there causing trouble and mischief and being problematic, and it just kind of went from there.
Yeah. I will say that Sarah's mother is so relatable. Like, I was so angry at her at the beginning of the book, but also as a mother, I was like, yeah, absolutely. Like, her justification, I'm like, I don't know, little girl. But as a reader, you know, I'm like, how could you do this to her? But yeah, so I'm trying not to give away too many spoilers. But let me tell you, like from the beginning of the story, you had me like in a chokehold with these characters. So, bravo.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. I when I was writing it, like I said, I really wanted the characters to feel real, because Ben also dropped it in the chat. Like I read a lot of manga, watch a lot of anime, and One Piece is one of my favorites, and it's just like, everybody has their own backstory. Everybody got their own reason for being a part of the journey. And I just kind of want to take or try to emulate some aspect of that. Like, everybody got a reason for being here. And it's not all about, oh, we got pulled into the plot for plot devices and reasons. So let's go on this journey. But yeah.
Yeah. So I'm here in the discussion, and I'm also want to pay active attention to the chat. So I'm not checking email or something like that. My attention is 100% here. So we talked about that opening quote way back when, from when Twitter was Twitter. What inspired you to help begin creating your books? Also, I'm really interested in like the origin of the god. So we have Freya, which I tend to think of as a Norse god, which I was, even though the mythology is very different in the book. So like, how did you choose the name of your god? So what inspired you to start the book? How did you choose the name of your gods?
Okay. What inspired me to write the book is, I feel like it's such a cliche answer, but it's also just like very honest. But like growing up reading fantasy and being Black and a woman, it's just kind of like, if you were in the story, you were the best friend, and you kind of got like all of the problems, and then you just kind of had to like solve them and be the emotional support friend. And you never got like the happy ending. You didn't get to go on the journey. You didn't get to be a part of the story. The story wasn't about you. So if you wanted to be in the story, you had to pick and choose traits and other people that didn't look like you, act like you, anything like that. So as I got older, right, 17, I was like, ew, I'm going to be an author. My mom was like, no, you're not. You're going to do something practical because you can't stay here and we're not going to support you. So go get a job, like go to college and get real job. Right. And I was like, but that's not what I want to do. I want to be creative. Anyway, did that, detoured, fast forward, came back to writing. And I was just like, I still love this and I still want to write fantasy. I still want to see myself very much in these stories, specifically like Black girls who aren't nice, in the sense of I wanted stories where it's just like the Black girl is just doing her thing. She's solving problems the best way she knows how, in her, what she looks like, her hair, her how she talks, all of that is basically non-factor, in the sense of it's not an obstacle and the book isn't about overcoming that. I wanted to write stories like that, and so that's just kind of where it came from. So enter dark period of life, and I was like, ooh, you know, it'd be great if I could just like murk all of the problems in my life, and then lo and behold, an assassin was born. And then it just kind of went from there. I just kind of had fun with it. Like, okay, what if I had this character and she has all of the power that she needs, but she has to leave her family and she has to leave everything that she's known to do something that is bigger than her, right? How does she deal with that? And then it kind of just blossomed out from there. As far as the gods go and creating them, there are two answers to that question. One is the honest answer, which is in reality. I watched this anime called Kiss Him, Not Me. And then I took a nap. And when I woke up, I was like, ooh, you know, it'd be great. Let's do, like, it's not, in my mind, I called the reverse harem, but I know that that's not politically correct. So I was like, polygamous gods, let's do that. That sounds fun. And then from there, it just kind of blossomed. I woke up, I knew all their names. I knew what their traits were, how their relationship interacted. But like working it into the story was a unique challenge, I'll say, because originally the story did not have gods at all. It was a completely different story. So after that, it was just like, okay, we got gods. And I knew that I wanted a Black woman to be the center of it. And she was going to be like the pinnacle of beauty, because I wanted to write a book. If I was going to write a book and I was going to write a fantasy, the dark-skinned girls were going to be beautiful, and they were going to be the standard of beauty. Not like, oh, she's cute for a dark-skinned girl. Like, no, we're not doing that here. And I knew that I wanted, I mean, like, let's be real here. Everybody else is obsessed with Black women, whether or not they want to admit it or not. So I was just like, we're just going to make that the reality in the book, and everybody's okay with it. We're just going to roll with it. That's just facts. Everybody loves her. And yeah, that's pretty much it. The gods are obsessed with her, and then they all have their own children and their own ways of dealing with things, because they're still different people. And I'm rambling, so I'm gonna pull that in right there.
I enjoyed your response, and it's kind of hard for me. It was insightful for me to hear that the book didn't start with the gods, because the beginning of the book is literally like, okay, telling the younger sister the creation started, which starts with a god. So it's like, oh, so that was very fascinating to me. Jessica, we can tag team it. Does that feel good?
Okay. No, I'm just like, my mind is spinning because so I think we talked about like the plotter versus pantser situation, and I thought, Chelsea, you said you were more of a plotter, so I'm kind of shook that the gods weren't initially a part of the story.
I said, what?
That's so pantser of you.
I am in the middle with heavy leaning towards pantsing. It's more so like, I know what has to happen in the book. So like, I knew that Brandi and Jack were going to be Brandi and Jack. I knew that there was going to be Sarah, and that they were going to have to protect her, and that was going to cause problems and beef with everybody else. I knew that from the very beginning. And for those of you who haven't read the book, I'm not going to spoil it. I just going to say that I knew what happened in like the first 3 to 4 chapters. That was always going to happen. Like in every version of the book, that was always going to happen. That last chapter, in every version of the book, that was going to happen. There are like 20 chapters in this book, y'all. So the middle 17, completely up in the air.
Well, your husband said there were plenty of versions of the book before the final.
Yeah. Yes. There's so many. And I have to shout him out every time I do an interview because he really read every version of the book. And when I tell you he got to that second to final version and that intro, when I tell you how he hurt my feelings so bad, and he read it, and I was in the kitchen cooking, and he was just sitting in the chair, and then he read it, and he put it down. He was like, okay, I'm done. And I was like, don't keep me in suspense like this. Like, what did you think? And he was like, it wasn't good. You need to try it again. And I was like, my feelings. Oh, my God. But then I did go back and rewrite it, and it was better.
I mean, that's good because, like, to me, sometimes I need very, like if I wrote something, which would be a miracle in and of itself, and somebody's like, isn't good, you need to rewrite it. I'd be like, but what isn't good? What do I need to rewrite? Like, what's wrong? What don't you understand? I would need, like, something very crisp, right, to move forward. So, but that's beautiful that you got that feedback, that the reader was honest, and you made it even better.
I feel like I don't know how you handle having your husband be that reader for you. Like, I have readers like that, but they don't live in my house because after something like that, you can't sleep here, sir. You gotta go somewhere. I need days to process this information. You just
I mean, I'm not gonna front. Sometimes it be a hostile energy in the house after some feedback, but it's also it's a win-win situation sometimes, and also lose-lose situation sometimes, because sometimes lose-lose. I'm mad at you. You were just like, I was honest. You asked, and it's just like, but you were supposed to lie. You were supposed to make me feel better, right? But also no. But then it's also one of those things where I'm super grateful for him because he lives here with me, so I can just be like, so did you read it? Mm-hmm. Read it right now. I'm going to watch you read this so you can give me this feedback that I need right now. And it's just like, I know you're not busy. I'm looking at you right now. You're not busy. You can read this. So it's win-win. I appreciate the feedback, and I also know that he reads a lot. He reads more than I do. So I also know that his feedback is genuine, and it's critical in the way that it needs to be to push me to be better. Yeah. That I can't always get from other people. And sometimes I can get it in 3 to 5 business days. Sometimes. If I send it to him tonight, I'm going to get feedback tonight or tomorrow morning at the latest. So,
which is beautiful. And he says, I'm not mean, just honest, and I try to give actionable feedback when so that's fair. And I'm not in the room, so that's just me free thinking. I wish people would give me feedback. LOL. The hard feedback from a caring source is great to build with. So agreed. I know if I was reading babe stuff, I'd be like, oh my God, it's amazing. I'd be the worst feedback. I'm like, it's great. I think you're wonderful. I think everything you wrote, it would get no better based off of my feedback. So I'm glad you have that.
Okay. Yeah, I would definitely say it helps because I know that he loves me. So even if my feelings are hurt, I don't take it personal. I know it comes from a place of, I just want you to be great. And then, you know, that feeling with your friends, you're like, I'm not gonna let you go outside looking crazy. Right. It's very much that kind of energy. Like, I'm not gonna let you share this book with the world and it's not ready. Like, you just keep that one in the drafts. Keep that one in the drafts, babe. You got better than this.
That's beautiful. Timothy says, I agree. Well-constructed criticism and feedback can help the writer do better. So agree. Yeah. I'm just not the fount of, like, it's hard for me.
Okay. Can I ask you about your shaders and the character Tiki? Because I love Tiki and I want Tiki, like, I know that from the description, like, I couldn't realistically have a Tiki. But I want one. Can you talk about the shaders? I don't know if that's because I'll be asking questions about the story now. I don't know if anybody thinks it's a spoiler. I don't think it's a spoiler. But like, please talk about the shaders and how does she? I know that it's because like her connection with the goddess. That's why Tiki is like cool with her. But just the whole dynamic, I'm so intrigued, and I want, like, is there a drawing or a depiction so I can like have a plushie made of Tiki?
Yes, and shader plushie. So let's, for those of us, for anybody who hasn't read the book, Chelsea, define what a shader is, and then you can tell us about how shaders came.
Okay, so I'm gonna try to find the excerpt really quick from the book because it's that kind of explains in a nutshell what a shader is. Okay, here we go. It's from chapter 1 of We Are the Origin, right? And it says, shaders are known to be the living nightmares that stalk the realm, but they are also Freya's first beloved creations. Born of a darkness that existed before light, they are a manifestation of her own heart and will heed her call always. Tread lightly before them, for they do not tolerate disrespect. So.
And they smell amazing, according to the book.
Yeah. You didn't get a candle?
No.
You didn't get a box? Okay, so
No.
I don't have it on me. Ben's gonna be mad because I keep doing this, but the book box for We Are Dying Gods comes with a green candle that is scented like the shaders in the book. So if you want to know what they smell like,
Can you bring one of them candles with you this weekend? Go ahead, throw one in your bag real quick.
Here we go. Ben coming through. So this is the box.
Oh, fancy.
It comes with an exclusive quote on the inside from the book, and this, let's put that down here. This is the candle. It's green, and it smells really sweet like the shader. So, and this is exclusive. I didn't know that either. The candle maker, she only takes custom orders now. She doesn't sell her candles regularly. So if you want one, you have to get a box. So, fun fact. But you asked me how I came up with them? Or something like that? What was the question?
Yes.
Basically, I like animal familiars in fantasy. I think they're fun. But I was also like, if she's an assassin, I feel like the most assassin-like animal familiar you could have is like a wolf or a tiger or something. And I was like, that's been done a million times. So I was just like, what if it's different? What if we can talk to her? We love talking animals. What? This would be great. And in my mind, I was like, okay, she's an assassin. Like, she can literally kill anybody in this book. I need someone or something that's going to be more terrifying and dangerous than her, where other people are like, oh, wait a second. Like, because, like, if you met someone in real life, it's like, oh, yeah, I have a pet tiger. I got, like, 3 of them in my house. You'd be like, you have a what in your house? You know? I kind of wanted that reaction. So Tiki came along because I was like, what if it was a wolf, but it was bigger? And what if it was like top of the food chain? Like, what if humans weren't top of the food chain in this world? What if they were the top and people were like terrified of them? Like, they're literally the boogeyman. They're literally the monster under the bed that parents use to get their kids to like listen and follow instructions. And Brandi's just out here cooling with them. And she's palling around. And I was like, oh, it would be really cool if they smelled sweet instead of being like, oh, they're like rank and they're dangerous and droll and gross. Like, no, let's make them cute and fluffy. And so like once you get to know, it's like, oh my God. But also like, if you read the book, you'll understand why they're dangerous. I'll say that. They're really not fluffy except for anyone for Brandi. Because even Jack is like, whoa, this is not okay. Yeah.
And then the mannerisms for like when they're interacting with Brandi, like they just become these big puppies basically. And it's just like I love that dynamic of them like the scene where she like blows her breath on Brandi's face to like calm her. I'm just like, oh my God, I want Tiki now. I need this in my life.
I wanted something where it's just like, because Ben mentioned it. So Tiki, there are multiple shaders in the book, but the main one is Tiki. That's like Brandi's, we'll say best friend. We'll just go with that, right? But they're giants. They have like this double row of like sharp teeth, and they're completely blind. They don't have any eyes because they existed before light. So they don't have any eyes, and they eat people. So they're kind of not friendly. But when they're around Brandi, it's just like, oh, like, they're cool. They're palling around. They're joking. And the whole huffing breath in her face is like, she grew up around them. So I wanted something that for most people would be like, oh, I'm about to die. Would be like, oh, this is so comforting. Thank you so much. Like, I know that you care about me. And also, like, I have a dog, and he does this, like, little sneezing thing when he's looking at you. He's like, and it's just like, oh, you good? Bless you, homie. And it's just like, I know he's not sneezing, but there we go. There we go. That's right. came from.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So, for anybody who's just joined, we are discussing We Are the Origin and We Are the Dying Gods by Chelsea Lockhart. A Writer's Husband will drop the link to purchase in the chat. I also would like to offer another PSA. If you click this little white arrow right here, it'll drop down. You can follow Sistah Scifi. You can follow Jessica Cage if you have not already. And you can follow CM Lockhart on Instagram and get all the really cool updates. Okay, PSA done.
So yeah.
Next question is, how was writing We Are the Dying Gods different from writing We Are the Origin?
For one, it was a lot harder. Just gonna throw that out there. A lot of authors talk about, like, I don't say this, I'll call it sequel slump or whatever. Like, writing your second book is a lot harder than writing your first. And when you're writing your first, you're like, oh my God, it can't be that hard. I did it the first time. It gotta be easier. And then you do it and you're like, oh my God, they were right. And basically, it's just like, for one, with the series, it's like, with the first book already being out in the world, there are certain things that I could no longer change. Like, these rules are hard set. Like, I can't change the gods. I can't change how they interact. I can't change where things are placed. Like, this is set. This is set in stone now. So I have to play by the rules that I've already set, but I also have to expand on it and go a little bit deeper, and then also make the plot work with what's already there. And it's just like, oh, that's a unique challenge, especially for a pantser who doesn't know what's happening for the majority of the middle of the book. So there's that. And then also for We Are Dying Gods, I had a deadline, and I set it for my friend because her birthday was August 29th. So We Are Dying Gods was her birthday present from me to her. Like, this is your present. Oh my God, I released my book on your birthday. Enjoy. But I said that before I had written the book. And I was like, ooh, I got time. This is going to be easy. It wasn't, and it was miserable. And I was like, oh my God, like at 2 o'clock, I was like, I want to go to sleep. Just out here typing words that don't make no sense and having to go back and be like, you know what? Probably should have just went to sleep because this was not helpful. So yeah. And the excerpts in book 2 were a lot more difficult to come up with, only because there are more books in We Are Dying Gods that are pulled from. So they're like longer excerpts. So hopefully people like it. I was experimenting. No one has said that they hated them yet. I hope that continues, but we'll see.
Okay. I like it. I'm here for it. And I'm sorry writing book 2 is so much more arduous.
It's part of the process. Hopefully book 3 gets a little bit easier because I've written book 2. But I don't know. Jessica got like 50 books, so she can tell you for sure if it gets any easier. But I'm hoping. I have hope. And now her scratching her head like, nah, homie.
No, I think it's a normal, like you said, it's part of the process. Especially if the first book is great, like everyone loves it. There's also this pressure of like, you don't want to put out the second book and people are like, oh, I don't know what the heck happened here, right? So there's like with your first book, there's really no like expectation, I guess, to meet. Like the readers are just like, oh, this is new. So, but now you're on the second book or the third book or the fourth book, and it's like people who have a standard, and you as the creator, you're trying to go above that, right? You don't want to just hit what they're expecting. You want to like go above and beyond, right? So there's an added layer of pressure. Like when you were first creating the first book, let me hold it up again, We Are the Origin, right? You were like in your own little bubble and it was just your world, and you know what I mean? But now this first book is out and it's not really yours anymore, right? There are other people who have expectations and things that you have to then meet, right? So I'm not gonna say it gets easier. I mean, your process gets easier, but that whole like, you know, voice in the back of your head, that for me, like you said, I have a lot of books and that bad boy's still there. So I don't know. She's still in there.
And I guess that's the thing too, that I guess I can actually put into words now that you said it. It's just that the expectation of like, oh, I want people to like the book because they like the first one, and I don't let's be real here. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. There are some authors where their first book was great, and then you got that second book, you're like, I ain't never picking up nothing they write ever again. It was a good run. This is fun. The second book, not so much, but we tried, right? I support it. And then you just like move on with your life. And as an author, especially an indie author, that's not what you want. You want people to keep coming back to your books, continue to talk about them, continuing to share them. And especially with like a trilogy, it's like, I also need you to go buy the third book when it's ready, you know?
Right.
So that's definitely.
You know for sure it'll be a 3-book series.
It's for sure going to be a 3-book series. I had played with the idea of it being more than that, but the way my attention span is set up, I need other projects in my life. And also for me, right, like I started We're the Origin when I was in a very like dark place in my life. Like the whole idea of Brandi and her world came from when I was in the middle of a depression, and the idea was like literally like, what if I could just like murk all the problems, i.e. people in my life, and then what would I do, right? I'm not in that place anymore. So now I'm like, I love Brandi. I love her story. I love her world. I love everything that it is. But I'm also like, there are other stories and other ideas that are living in me that I want to write and like put out into the world, where I don't want to just live in the Wrath of the Gods series for like 10 years without writing anything else, because I'm like, in my mind, and y'all may disagree with me, but in my mind, the world is really big. There's like plenty of stories within the Wrath of the Gods that I could tell, like even like the origin story of the gods. I've gotten lots of people requesting the origin story of the gods, and then just everything that happens within it. But I'm also like, if I did that, it takes. I'm not one of those authors who can like drop a book every other month. That's just not who I am. It takes a while. So I'm like, if it takes me a year or, you know, even 6 months to write a book, that means that if it's longer than a trilogy, that means for like 3, 4, 5, how many ever years, I'm just writing the same in the same story, in the same world. And part of me is like, if I do that, and I'm going to create this idea in my head of, I can't leave this world because no one's going to read anything else if I stay here too long, you know?
So do you see yourself leaving the whole world entirely to work on something brand new? I know you mentioned the origin like of the gods. Do you see yourself going towards telling their stories apart from Brandi, or are you going to be building something new and lighter, not born of like depression?
Definitely something new and lighter. I started working on another project. It is for now called Project Necromancer. I do have a title for it. I have artwork for it because I clearly do things backwards. And I've been working on that, and I like fantasy as a whole. I like different elements of it and magic, and I love Brandi and my next character. She's also a black girl who's not nice, but in a very different way. And to just have something that's different, not necessarily like lighter or darker, because like, to be real, I realize that, you know, for better or for worse, there are going to be people who die. I don't know. I like murder. I think it's interesting. Anywho, that's just kind of
No good story
what it is
without a little murder. Right?
well, not a little murder, not a little threat of death, you know? But
I love it. So as an indie author, what how do you use social media as a tool, and double tapping into what platforms have resonated the most for you with your audience, etc.?
honestly, I mean, I know we're over here on Instagram, but for me, it's been TikTok. And it's a little bit different because Instagram, I'm getting more into Instagram lately with Twitter not being Twitter anymore. But as for like tapping into it as an indie author, I like TikTok. TikTok lets you be in the moment and authentic in a way that other platforms just kind of don't support, I'll say. And for me, the engagement is a little bit different. Like, I feel like I have a lot more conversations on TikTok, more so than any other platform. And I really like that. I feel like I like feeling like I know people. Because like I said, I met Jessica over on TikTok. I met a lot of my author friends that I currently have over on TikTok, only because I didn't feel like I had to sugarcoat myself into like put myself into like the perfect, oh my God, my makeup is done, my hair is did, I have on something cute. Like, no, on TikTok, I could be like, look, y'all, don't judge me. If you talk about my hair, you're anti-Black, okay? And we can just move on. And as an indie author, it's kind of nice to be able to, you know, share your book. For me, one of the things that I always mention, because I also offer mentoring service to other indie authors and self-published authors trying to like find their footing for the first time. But one of the things that I always tell people is like, social media is meant to be social, to be authentic, to like connect with people. And I feel like being able to talk about more than just my book is also one of the ways to use social media, because it's like, when you have a book release, yay, great. You have all the content in the world that you need. It's that me time in between time that you have to figure out, oh, what am I going to talk about? How am I going to create content around a book that doesn't have a title, that doesn't have a cover, that doesn't have a plot, that doesn't have anything that I can share with the world yet, you know? So I don't know if that answered the question or not. I got kind of sidetracked. I'm not going to lie. I'm so sorry. But hopefully that answered the question.
It answered. It was very insightful for me, so no need to apologize.
Okay, cool.
Jessica, do you have a question?
I mean, honestly, I'm suffering a mild concussion and my brain just went like break. But
Wait.
I'm over here
Are
like
you
trying
really
to
suffering from
silently
a mild
do a
concussion?
little.
What?
Yeah, I had this isn't about me though. I'm doing like a little mental reboot.
Not a mental reboot.
No, so I wanted to ask Miss Lockhart, like, I don't know why I called you that. Like
I might say, ooh,
I'm gonna
you
blame
gotta
it
trigger some
on the reboot.
PTSD.
I'm like, like how Mrs. Like I'm in school. Okay, so you talked about like the personability of social media, but your branding is so on point, like from platform to platform. And I know this is kind of getting away from the book a little bit, but like, how did you determine what your branding would be? Because like I said, I started seeing you on my FYP with your tagline, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it became like, I would sit there waiting. Like I would see your face and I'm like, I know she's gonna say it, you know what I mean? And that's how I became engaged with your content. And so how did you decide how you would, first, introduce yourself like that, and then like the consistency of your brand? Because even though you have several covers for these books, like illustrate, the branding is so on point. So how did you determine what your branding would be, and how did you come up with your tagline? Because I tell you this all the time. I sit there like, wait, she gonna say it. Boom. Okay, let's go.
Okay, so I will say this. For those of you who have never ventured over to my TikTok or seen one of my reels, even on here, because they're the same, I go front. My tagline is, hey, you guys, what's up? If you've never seen me before, my name is Chelsea, and I write books about Black girls who aren't all that nice. And this is my book. And I just throw out my book like, this is it. The tagline came because I was new to TikTok. I had tried the whole book talk thing, and I was just like, ooh, she is not a book talker. Y'all are scary. So I was immediately like, no, I need to find the other authors who are behind the scenes. And one of the pieces of advice that I got was like, oh, like, you only, like, this was at the point before all the algorithms had changed to whatever it is right now, right? And the idea was like, okay, that first couple of seconds before someone swipes, that's your chance to grab them. And I was just like, I don't know, who am I? Hi, my name is Chelsea. I write books about Black girls who aren't all that nice, because I was trying to figure out a way to tell people where the origin was about. And I was like, I don't want to be like, I write books about assassins, because that's just what this book is about. That's not what every book is going to be about. And I was just like, I want to find the audience, but I was like, it's important to know, for me, to tell people that, like, hi, my book is about Black girls, because I'm a Black girl, my fantasy is Black girl, it's always going to be a Black girl. I don't care who it is, why, whatever. Who, what, when, why, where, how, well, whatever. It's a Black girl, and she's not going to be nice by conventional standards, because I was like, when you have to be nice, that, I'm not going to say it cripples the story, but it
Uh-oh.
Is that me or did everybody?
Jessica, you're still here.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Chelsea is coming back. She's just cruising in cyberspace. So technically, Sister Sci-Fi Wind Down Wednesday ends at 5:50, which is in 60 seconds. So okay. Oh, we lost Chelsea. But Chelsea will be back. I just sent Chelsea an invite. So we're gonna move on to my second favorite part of Sister Sci-Fi Wind Down Wednesday, which this is a great transition. Oh, here's Chelsea. The second favorite part of Sister Sci-Fi Wind Down Wednesday is this or that. I ask this or that questions, and you give a rapid fire response, whichever pops into your mind. And then we talk about why you chose this or that. My first favorite part of the Wind Down Wednesday is everything we've been doing thus far. Wait, Chelsea is coming back. No. Ooh, this is fascinating.
I'm just gonna hold up her book while we wait so people can
Yes,
go get it.
hold up the book. Amazing. Let's kick off to this or that. I'll ask you, Jessica. So this is based off of the characters on We Are the Origin and We Are the Dying Gods. This or that, Brandi or Sarah?
Brandi.
Okay, tell us why.
I kill all the Sarahs in my stories. I don't have a good history with Sarahs. I'm sorry if anyone here is named Sarah, but if you find your name in my book.
Named Sarah. Okay. Wow. if you have Sarah in Jessica's life.
I just really just love the development of Brandy's character, the history, and watching her learn and understand her connection to the goddess in the story, like all of that. I feel, I mean, Sarah is nice and her story is great and how she got her power and all that was very nice. But I just, I'm Brandi all day. So.
Okay. I'm here for it. Beyonce or Janelle Monáe?
Lord have mercy. Okay, I'm gonna say Janelle because Janelle is more my vibe.
Okay.
She is Beyonce and I'm Janelle. If they were like friends, I'm the like cool level, like chill out Janelle, and my friend is like Beyonce. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like she is.
Yeah. Okay. I'm here for that. I think either answer, the next question is the Changeling TV adaptation or the other Black Girl. But the other Black Girl just started streaming, so you probably haven't watched it yet.
I haven't seen either. So I'm very much in my creative bag, so I'm not really watching a lot of current things on TV. I watch a lot of like reruns of like Twilight and Underworld. So like that's the background. Am I Rothian? I haven't decided. Oh my goodness. That's such a big question. I feel like I want to be, but I gotta read the second book.
Okay. I don't know what happened. I'm sorry about that. But hi, I'm back. I made it.
You're here, you're back, and it is totally good, and you are okay. So I only asked two this or that question. So the first one was Brandi or Sarah?
Brandi, for sure.
Okay, that seems universal. The second one was Janelle Monáe or Beyonce?
Probably Beyonce in this current moment of time.
Okay.
But that can change.
Question has been like 30, 70 Beyonce, because it's Beyonce. Then the third question was the Changeling TV adaptation or the other Black Girl, if you're watching TV like that.
That is a trick question because if it is not animated, I have probably not seen it.
All right. That makes that easy. So the next question is Luke Cage or Black Panther?
For what purpose?
I'm gonna let you decide the purpose.
Oh,
You're the first person to ask me that question, and I've been asking this question for almost a year and a half now. So,
I mean, if we're talking about just the show itself to watch for entertainment, Black Panther. If we're talking about the individual, Luke Cage.
okay, here for it. Jessica.
Can we throw M'Baku in there? Because then I'm going M'Baku.
You know what? You're right. You're right.
We got M'Baku. Let me just dance on over with my people in the mountains.
We are in agreement.
That's M'Baku. Okay. Last this or that, Toni Morrison or Octavia Butler?
I would have to go with Octavia Butler.
I'm going to go Toni.
Ooh, yeah, that's typically a 50-50 split as well.
Yeah.
This was amazing.
Only because, I love Toni, but I felt like when I read the, it's not the Exogenesis. It's the one with the aliens. I can't remember the name of it. Lilith's Brood?
Yeah, that's Exogenesis.
Yeah, that kind of changed my entire understanding of fantasy, and I was just like, oh, this is a moment. But the other one, there is the one by Octavia Butler that I'm just not going to read because I'm not ready for that kind of trauma in my life, and I know that we all know exactly which book that I'm talking about.
I do.
Not ready for that one.
I do.
I'm still not emotionally ready for that one.
I do. Yeah, I read it and I was mad that I was like, I got to read this book, and I was salty. So yes, I never.
Salty.
So this was amazing. Thank you so much for your craft and your work. Thank you so much for joining Sistah Sci-Fi Wind Down Wednesday. We wrap at 5:50-ish because I have therapy right after. So We Are the Origins by Chelsea Lockhart. We Are the Dying Gods, also by Chelsea Lockhart. There's a book 3 coming, so when you fall in love with the cast, know that there's more of this world in the near future.
Yes. I'm not giving a release date because I'm not doing that to myself again. But it is coming.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Chelsea. Thank you so much, Jessica.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us on. I appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure. Okay. Talk soon.
All right. Bye.
Bye.